Alright everyone, we have a very important topic to talk about today, which is all of the movies I saw in 2019. So if you didn't know this about me, I'm a big movie buff. I also am a videographer part-time. I like making wedding videos, music videos. I would love to make some short films and documentaries. But I love to go to the movies. So what Mitch and I do, we don't buy movies anymore. We just go to the movie theaters. So we have a pass to AMC, and I'm sure other movie theaters have some sort of loyalty program, but we love AMC because you pay 20 bucks a month and you can go see up to 3 movies a week. It's called AMC A-List. So we usually go see around 3 a month. We definitely get our money's worth. And it's also awesome because you get points back for popcorn, and you can reserve your tickets online for free. So anyways, I love AMC. It's called the A-List. If you want to join, I'll put a link down below because it was kind of tricky to figure out, but it's called the AMC A-List, and that's what we do. We love it. We love to go to movies. We don't have any kids, so we can just go to movies all the time. I saw a lot of movies in 2019. In fact, I saw 36 movies in 2019, so if you calculate it out, I only paid this much per ticket. Pretty good, huh? If you like going to movies, it's awesome. All right, let's get into the juicy stuff. The first movie that I saw in 2019 was Aquaman. Aquaman was really good. DC Comics has definitely been stepping up their game lately. I've been super enjoying their movies. I really enjoyed Aquaman, and of course Jason Momoa is a babe, so sorry Mitch. He's okay with it. He thinks so too. No, I'm just kidding. Aquaman was fantastic, and I also love Wonder Woman, one of my favorite superhero movies of all time, which was also a DC movie, so way to go DC. The second movie I saw was Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, which was poo-poo, and I will go see all of the Fantastic Beasts movies because I'm just a Potterhead, and anything that has to do with Harry Potter I love. But I'm sure you can find some other movie reviews online, but this movie, the timeline of it just didn't make sense with the Potterverse. There were some weird things like Dumbledore and McGonagall being at Hogwarts, that doesn't fit in the right timeline, and just some of the magic it didn't make sense because it's new magic that they didn't have in the Harry Potter movies / books / canon, and so I just had some issues with some of it. But as far as the CGI and Eddie Redmayne, I don't know, he's great. So I don't know, I'll go see the next one, but yeah, didn't love it. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was surprisingly amazing. I was not anticipating liking it as much as I did. Mitch was kind of I want to go see it, and I heard that it was animation comic type of movie, so I was kind of I don't know, but he convinced me to go see it, and I ended up loving it very unexpectedly. So I loved that movie. It was great. That's one of my unsung heroes of the year. The next movie I saw was Bohemian Rhapsody, which was a movie all about Queen and his music, and it was great. If you love Queen, you would really enjoy the movie. It's just kind of great to see where he came from, some of his struggles becoming famous, and I thought the actor they picked to play Freddie Mercury was great. I recognized him from Night at the Museum. He was King Tut or something. Anyways, he was great. Great actor. The Upside, one of my favorite movies from the year. Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston just knocked it out of the park with this one. The way that they told this story, which I believe is a true story about a man who's a quadriplegic. Anyways, they did a great job. They work really well on the screen together, I thought. I don't know if they get along outside of movie life, but I loved them in this, and it's just such a great story. Such a great story. So if you have not seen The Upside, that's one of my top 5 of the year. Go find it at Redbox or something, because you need to see it. It's a very, very, very good movie. Okay, the next movie we saw is called Glass, and Glass is part of a series, so I had to watch the other ones before we went to go see Glass. And I'm not gonna lie, they are a different take on like mutations or superpowers, if you will. And the movie before this one, I think it's called Split, I'm blanking right now. It was scary, like it was creepy. So, but you need to see the other movies to see Glass, and you should see Glass because it was really, really good. Not one of my favorites from the year, but I really enjoyed it, and it was great to watch all of the movies leading up to it like right in a row. I think we watched them like day 1, day 2, day 3, and then we went to go see Glass. So it was really good, and if you're into kind of superhero and mutation type of movies, that's definitely a series to put on your radar that I wasn't aware of, but is really, really good. How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. Great movie. I probably won't ever watch it again, but I enjoyed it. Of course I cried because I cry in like every movie. I'm just a big baby. How to Train Your Dragon has fabulous soundtracks, and I just love the way that they portray dragons as like these little squishy, nice creatures. So that was a great movie. Enjoyed that one. Captain Marvel, I didn't love Captain Marvel. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I feel like the great part of that movie was sort of the fan service to Samuel L. Jackson, who played Nick Fury, and the cat, and I just didn't love Brie Larson. If you love her, that's cool, but I don't know, it was just not my favorite. If we're gonna go down the female superhero route, I really enjoyed Wonder Woman, and I'm having a hard time comparing the other female superheroes to her. So I didn't love it, unfortunately. The next movie we saw is Isn't It Romantic with Rebel Wilson, which was funny. It was like better than I was expecting. I didn't really have any expectations for it. And yeah, it was enjoyable. We went to go see it around Valentine's Day, and it was just kind of a funny take on like a rom-com. So Mitch even enjoyed it, which is great. And yeah, it was pretty good. We saw Wonderpark, which is a bit of a kids movie, but I really liked it. If you have kids and you haven't seen it, it's a great one. It has a great message and just kind of encourages you to keep your imagination alive. One of those good feeling movies, and yeah, we really liked it. Shazam, another one of my top 5 for the year. I loved Shazam. Great job with Shazam. I can't wait for the next one. I would have gone to see it again, but we just didn't quite make it to the theaters, and yeah, I loved it. I thought the main actor looked a bit like Jimmy Fallon, so that was kind of interesting. I didn't really know anything about the Shazam superhero storyline or anything like that, so it was just very awesome for me, and I really, really enjoyed the storyline and the characters. And I love like really funny superhero movies. Like Ant-Man is one of my favorite Marvel superhero movies. So this one, if you like Ant-Man, I feel like you really like Shazam because it's really funny and humorous, but also like really cool. So I love Shazam. Avengers Endgame, it was pretty good. It was like a good wrap up to the Avengers, and I liked the movie before this one better. I don't know. It was necessary and slightly predictable, and Mitch and I both like agree that movies that use time travel can be annoying. I do like Doctor Strange and how he kind of uses time travel. I don't know. It wasn't my favorite, but I feel like it was good, so that's my thoughts on that. Pokemon Detective Pikachu, I loved this movie, which is so funny. It's kind of another one like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where I was not expecting to love it as much as I did, and had no expectations whatsoever. I loved this movie. I think it was really, really good. Kids would enjoy it, adults would enjoy it. Growing up in the 90s, I was into Pokemon cards, and I know they've kind of resurfaced and whatever, but Anyways, it was a great movie. I really, really enjoyed that movie. Okay, next up is Aladdin, the live action movie, and I liked this movie. I wouldn't like necessarily watch it instead of the cartoon because I feel like they're both good. I really liked the music. Of course, Will Smith was the star of the show, and I was nervous on how we would compare the new genie to Robin Williams, but we didn't have to because Will Smith was his own genie. He did it his own way. But yeah, it was pretty good. I don't know, these live action movies with Disney are kind of hit or miss for me. So I liked it. I didn't love it, but yeah, it was enjoyable. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. This was pretty good. This was one of those movies that Mitch wanted to go see and I kind of tagged along to. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. It was good though. I liked it. I sat through the whole thing and I didn't feel bored. I didn't know how I was going to feel about this movie. Not one of my favorites of the year, but yeah, it was pretty good. Men in Black International, which oddly enough, I have not seen any of the previous Men in Black movies. So we just started watching them a couple weeks ago. So this was my first Men in Black movie. I really liked it. Great take on like aliens, and yeah, it was fun. I liked it. Mitch kind of said that comparing it to the other movies, it wasn't really anything special. Just kind of more of the same. It was good. Toy Story 4 was great, and I love all the other Toy Story movies. I like this one just as much as I love 2 and 3. So I feel like number 1's the best, but 2, 3, and 4 all kind of hit the same place for me. I was like, oh really? Come on, do we need another Toy Story movie? But it was great. It kept the storyline going. I really, really enjoyed it just as much as some of the other Toy Story movies. So yeah, I really liked that one. Spider-Man Far From Home was so good. I love the Spider-Man movies, the new ones that Disney is doing now. I love the old Spider-Man movies too, but I think having like a younger Spider-Man is really fun to see his struggles of youth and teenagerism and growing up. Definitely had some things that I wasn't expecting. I would definitely watch it again, and it's a great addition to what they've already been doing with the Spider-Man and with the Marvel movies. Yesterday is another one of my top 5 from the year. I love the Beatles music. Most people do, but if you love the Beatles music, this is a really fun movie that includes their music, but it's not necessarily like a life documentary story type of movie. But I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't seen it, but it includes the music in a really fun and interesting way. It's a funny movie. I loved the jokes. I loved the actors and actresses. It was so good. This is one that I would buy and would definitely watch again. I really, 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 really enjoyed this movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Oh my goodness. This movie is not one that I would have necessarily picked to see, but we went to see it with some friends and I had no idea what I was gonna see, pretty much. The director for this movie, his name is Quentin Tarantino, and he has his own style of movies, so if you've seen some of his other movies, I guess you knew what to expect, but I did not, and the movie was just kind of like interesting until the very end. It was very violent, so just a warning there, I had to close my eyes for most of the ending of the movie. With that being said, I did enjoy this film, and I thought it was very artistic the way that it was made and directed. The shots were all really cool. I loved the time era that it takes place in. I did enjoy the movie, minus the violence. It was just a little much for me at the end. I don't know if I would recommend it or not because of the violence, but I really liked the storyline otherwise, so there you have it. We went to see Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw. This was kind of a Mitch movie that I ended up really enjoying. Who doesn't like The Rock? This is my first Fast and Furious movie that I've seen, so I don't really have a comparison to the other ones, and you don't need to see the other ones to see this movie. You can still enjoy it. Yeah, without giving too much away, I really enjoyed the cultural aspect of the movie, I guess, because The Rock, we get to go see like some Polynesian family and happenings with him. So anyways, I really enjoyed kind of the island life part of this movie. The Peanut Butter Falcon, that's in my top 5 for the year. Oh my goodness. I think it started as like a small or independent film, and it's so good. It's a movie that has to do with special needs, and Shia LaBeouf has totally made a comeback for me in this movie. I haven't seen him for a while, like since Transformers, so I don't really know what he's been up to. But this movie, I thought he did fantastic. His acting in it was great. He was perfect for the part. And of course, I loved all the actors in this film, and I thought they were all perfectly suited for their roles. It's a great movie. It takes place in, I think, Georgia or somewhere in the South, kind of swampy land, which if you know me, I lived in Louisiana and Mississippi for a few years, so that was like paying a little homage to my heart. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was so good. It's definitely in my top 5 for the year. Okay, next up is The Lion King, the live action version. It was okay. Kind of the same feelings as Aladdin, whereas like I would probably watch the cartoon instead of this one. But the music was good, the CGI was good, and it was fun to kind of see it again in a different way. But yeah, I just still love the original, so I don't know how much I'll be watching this again. The Lion King is one of my favorite movies from my childhood, so I am, you know, a little biased to the cartoon film. So anyways, it was alright. Abominable, this is also in my top 5. I don't know how many I'm at right now. This might be number 5, and I might still have 1 or 2 more to go. But Abominable is one of my top films from the year. It is an animation. It's a DreamWorks movie. It's a great storyline. I particularly liked it because one of my jobs right now is I teach Chinese kids English online, and so this takes place in China, and so I got warm fuzzies because of that. The main girl in the story plays the violin, and it's like her superpower, and so I love that because I love music, and I love that that's kind of her superpower. There's been kind of a lot of Yeti movies coming out lately, and I just loved this one. It was different from the others. It was great. I loved it. I want to see it again. Yes, loved it. I saw The Joker, fabulous movie. Like, I don't even know what to say about it, but if you are on the fence about seeing this movie because it is rated R, that's totally a personal choice. For me, I went to see it, obviously. I understand why it's rated R. It's not for young children. The way that they made this movie is deep. It's deep stuff. It is intense. It makes you think about things. It is a little violent, there are a few bad words in it, and besides that all being said, it is so good. Incredible acting. Like, first of all, incredible acting to the point where I'm not sure if this person has an actual identity out of this role type of acting. The way that they took this movie, the direction of it, it kind of fell in the line of the darker type of superhero movies with like the Batman trilogy with Christian Bale I love. So if you love kind of that darker feeling, suspenseful superhero type of movie, then you will enjoy this movie, but obviously it is a villain movie, so it is darker and it is more evil and sinister. I don't really know what else to say about it, but it was fabulous. Anyways, Joker, it was really, really good. We saw the Addams Family. It was kind of a waste of time, to be honest. But it was funny. I don't know, kids might like it, but we kind of just went to see it for Halloween, and it was just like, okay. I don't know. I don't really have much to say about it. Midway, it was really good, you guys. More of a historical fiction movie about World War II, a different storyline than Pearl Harbor, but one that can kind of go, I guess, in line with Pearl Harbor. I loved the actors. They had a lot of big names in this movie. Shout out to, which Jonas brother was in this movie? Nick Jonas? He's been doing some acting lately. He did great. Great story, especially if you like history, learning some more small stories from like the wars. It was really, really good. I loved it. Okay, Knives Out. I loved this film. Knives Out is like a murder mystery, kind of like Clue. I loved all the acting. I loved like the costume design for this movie, and like the set design was particularly good. It was a really fun movie. Would totally go see it again. Yeah, lots of plot twists. It was totally not what you would be expecting, because at the beginning of the movie they kind of like reveal a lot of things and you're like, okay, well, what else is there to see? But then like all these little plot twists keep happening. So I loved that movie. I thought it was so good. We also saw Last Christmas. I love Emilia Clarke, so we wanted to go see it because of her, and it was way different than what I was expecting. It was a very good storyline. Mitch really, really liked this one too. As far as rom-coms from the year, I definitely liked this movie better than Isn't It Romantic with Rebel Wilson. And Emilia Clarke, she's just kind of got this unforgettable personality, and she made the character really interesting in this movie. A different take on love, and I don't know, I don't want to give too much away, but I really, really liked it. I thought it was great. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, I think, is number 5 of 5. I might be on number 6 because I haven't been keeping track, but A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Tom Hanks, he should win an award for this movie. If you love Mr. Rogers and you grew up watching him like I did, then you need to go see this. Because there's a whole lot more to Mr. Rogers than his TV show. He just lived and breathed kindness, and if you kind of look into any sort of his documentaries or read any sort of biographies or articles or other things about him, he was just such an interesting person, and I think that's kind of why he's trendy right now. He's just Mr. Rogers. He's so cool. And this movie was like not necessarily a documentary, but kind of a man's journey through knowing Mr. Rogers and the influence that he had on his life. So I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Should win a bunch of awards. Amazing. I loved the music. It was such a beautiful, amazing movie. Amazing. Frozen 2. I loved it. I actually loved Frozen 2 more than I loved Frozen 1. It was very interesting. Adults will enjoy it. Kids will enjoy it. And the music in this one was really good. There's like a few songs that got stuck in my head in particular that I was singing for a few days. I love the concept of people's kind of superpowers having connection with nature and controlling elements. So this was a fun movie if you want to dive deeper into why does Elsa have magical powers, and are there other people that have magical powers, that type of a thing. Yeah, I hope they make Frozen 3 because I don't know, I really liked it. I thought it was fabulous. Okay, we went to see Star Wars 2 times. I loved it. I hated the last Star Wars film, so I was not expecting to like this one, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think a lot of that has to do with the different directors for the movies. I think if you really liked the last movie, you might not like this one. If you didn't like the last movie, you might like this one. It just kind of fixed all the things that I hated in the last movie. And I don't want to give too much away, but shout out to Kylo Ren. I loved him in this film. Rey was great. Finn, Poe were great. Some of the main characters that were more main characters in the last movie that weren't main characters in this movie, I appreciated that change. Of course, we have Sweet Princess Leia, who still played quite a big role in this movie, and I don't know how much they filmed before Carrie Fisher died, or if it was mostly CGI or what, but I couldn't tell. So amazing work there. It was a great wrap up to the Star Wars to this Star Wars trilogy, because I'm sure that Disney is going to make more movies. The last movie that we saw this year was Jumanji 2. I really, really liked it. You'll notice that I really like most movies, and I'm kind of easy to please, but I really did like Jumanji 2. I liked it just as much as the last film. And the characters in this movie were super funny. The Rock, we've got Kevin Hart, we've got Jack Black, Danny DeVito, just to name a few of my favorites, and I loved the storyline. It was like similar to the last one, but also different, and this movie was long, but I didn't feel too bored, so I really enjoyed it. I would probably see it again, and I thought it was a great last movie to see for 2019. So there's all my movies from the year. It's fun in the AMC app. It keeps track of all my movies, so I just had everything on my little list here. I would love to know what is your favorite movie of 2019, or maybe your top 5 if you have a few like I did. Movies are such a really cool expression of art, and I love film. I love the music. I love the visual. It's just so stimulating to me, and I love movies. So if you enjoyed this movie review, make sure to give a thumbs up so I know that you like this kind of content. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I make lots of videos just about lifestyle, healthy living, some music stuff, I don't know, a little bit of this and that, and mostly it's just my life. So we will see you in the next video. Goodbye!